Whether you love it or whether you hate it, it's an undeniable fact that YouTube fragrance reviewer, content creators have broke out onto the scene with fragrances into the fragcom world. Now, whether we are talking about full-on people that have become creative directors for like a line, like a full line of fragrances, or we are talking about fragrance reviewers who handle the whole process from fragrance making to the bottling to the boxing to the sending and everywhere in between. There is quite a few on the market. You guys know why you're here. I'm going to talk about the ZedCreators line. One of them, I'm going to talk about business over pleasure. There's no reason to screw around. Here we go. Hey, what's cracking YouTube? I'm Brandon. Welcome to DaVinci's Alchemist, your blue-collar guide for drinking well and stinking pretty. Today, we're talking about business over pleasure from Zaharoff and Ross Carlos from TLTG Fragrance Reviews. These have been on the scene for a little while, limited edition run. Once they're gone, they're sold out entirely. In case you are unfamiliar with it, there was 3 different fragrances dropped as part of the Zaharoff line, as a limited part of the Zaharoff line. George Zaharoff decided to take like the ultimate leap of faith, if you will. It's like way more nerve-wracking, I would imagine, than a simple trust fall. He brought in 3 content creators, 3 YouTube fragrance reviewers, gave them full reign over what they wanted to do with their own fragrance. These people went in with their perfumers. They talked about all the notes. They talked about what they wanted. They did not get any input or give any input to the other people involving how their fragrances would be made. They didn't even talk to George, or rather they didn't even let George be in on the process, or rather George decided not to be in on the process. Like I said, he just gave him full reign to roll, so that when they were finally finished with which formulation they wanted to use for the release, that was when they finally all got to smell each other's creations. So this was like 100% do what they want. So Ross Carlos from TLTG Fragrance Reviews. I decided to start with Ross's first because to me it is literally the most easy to wear, the most approachable, I guess you could say the most crowd pleasing. Now I bought this along with the other 2 when they were first released. I was very excited to get into these fragrances, and I did do a kind of like a first impressions. You can check that out over here. I personally have like everything from Zaharoff aside from the original that was done way back in the way back, and I really enjoy the house of Zaharoff. So let's get started into this. First thing I want to bring up is I'm going to just give you a quick blip on the packaging. All of the Zaharoff fragrances are gorgeous. They have these great packaged bottles. We're talking here, you got George on the top, you got Ross on the bottom, little playing card style, some metallic colored playing card detail on the sides and the back, and the front has this kind of nice plaque feel. You open it up, the fragrance sits nice and snug inside. Let's get into this bottle. It has that signature Zaharoff shape, that great cap. This one's metal. It's a nice light blue color, etching into the back of the bottle here, and then of course in the front. Zaharoff here, and then TLTG Reviews here. Beautiful bottles, good atomizer, not pressurized, but you do get good coverage from it. So aside from all the aesthetics, let's talk about the fragrance. First off, before I give you my thoughts and my impressions, I am going to tell you the official notes from the website. So I'm going to tell you straight out of the gate that this, I enjoy the hell out of it. Again, I don't think it is the most challenging. I find a ton of versatility in this fragrance. You can pretty much use it everywhere.
It helps to keep you feeling fresh when you're doing yard work. Maybe I should have watered more.
Also works really great when you're at the gym. Going out for a hike? Oh, it's excellent going out for a hike. But I tell you where it really, really shines is when you're going out having a night on the town. Oh, thank you. Yeah, like I said, you can pretty much use it everywhere. Now, I don't necessarily pick up every single one of those listed notes when I smell it. What comes like most to me in the very beginning, the very opening, I immediately get like this nice, light, creamy iris, and it has a very substantial root-like appeal to it. The citrus notes that I experience are very crisp, but they're not overpronounced. They're not overtaking in any way, shape, or form. They're very subdued, just enough to give it a little pop. I get a little bit of that ginger from the mid in the beginning as well. At least that's kind of what my nose grabs. There is a small amount of floral feel. I've never smelled Lily of the Valley directly, but that could quite possibly be what I'm getting. When the mid starts to come up, I get a good amount of pepper. That starts to kick out. It gives it this nice spice. As you could see, there was nothing listed about licorice, but I get this almost licorice greenness, maybe like an anise mixed with mint. Again, neither of those are in the official note listing. That's just kind of what I get. It gives it this very fresh and this very cooling effect. And as far as the iris is concerned, which is really, really gorgeous, gorgeous iris, I actually feel like this, because of the iris, is the most out of all three, really, that's anywhere near close to any of the original Zaharoff DNA. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like these carry any of that, really, that like they're very much set apart from the signature line. But if there's anything tying, if any of these tie into them, even just the most remote amount, I would say it's business over pleasure. And that's because of that iris. From my experience with the dry down, the iris stays. There's a woody, musky backbone, and it's very light and very subdued. My personal experience is that I can get wafts with, from myself, construction worker, so I really don't have a lot of time, where I'm around with the people that are gonna talk about how I smell. So couldn't be the first person to at all tell you what the performance is like as far as cloud and all that BS. I will tell you that I smell great all day, and that's all I care about. Business over pleasure conjures, for me, a very stark image of white. It's funny because the cap is blue. I originally thought this was going to be, an aquatic style fragrance, but it's not. At least not to me. Not even the tiniest amount. White is so the conjured image that I get from the smell of this fragrance. It very much makes me think of being in a white linen suit or a white linen shirt, pants, flip-flops, walking out on the beach, relaxing. For me, iris equals relaxation, and there is a really beautiful amount of this iris, and it's a gorgeous iris that is in this fragrance. This comes off very clean, which also turns my attention to the idea of white, and it's a very no-nonsense, not in your face, put a smile on your face fragrance, which also just leans to that purity, that white blank slate, if you will. My experience so far with business over pleasure, again, as I said before, there is literally no situation that you couldn't wear business over pleasure. It's gonna be spot on with whatever you choose. So major thumbs up from me, Ross, for the creation of this fragrance. I'm really into it. It's an easy reach fragrance, but it's an elevated easy reach fragrance. The way that this is blended is superb. The ingredients that were used, I feel, are definitely superb as well. I don't feel like there was any low quality shit used in this. I feel like it was very high quality shit. Obviously, no shit was used. So anyway, business over pleasure, aces as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how much longer this is gonna be around. If business over pleasure sounds like a fragrance you're interested in, Don't sleep on it. Check it out. Go to Zaharoff's website. I will go ahead and leave a link in the description of the video down below. I feel like this was a beautiful addition to the Zaharoff line. Thank you so much everyone for sticking around to the end of the video. New viewers and subscribers as well. Love you guys very much. I hope that you found this video informative. Here's some, random YouTube jargon, thumbs up and all that stuff. I hope that you are having a great week and a great weekend, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and each other. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you're going, no matter if it's business or if it's pleasure, don't forget, keep calm, stink pretty, and I'll see you on the next one.
Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side. Know that they ride or die. I keep boys by my side.
Day we hustle, but the night we
Know that they ride or die.